What's up YouTube? Welcome to Thru 9 Golf channel. I take you through a round of 9 holes with me. I also am golfing only since 9 months when I record this round, so it's a through 9 holes. Through 9 months, I am playing the blue tees today. There's a high handicaper, it's probably safer. According to my coach, I am around handicap 24, even though I'm not tracking exactly at this point. So this is a par 4, 260 meters or 285 yards, index 11. Wind is blowing left to right, though it's important to mention that I have never played around with wind. Usually with wind I stay at the practice. I am still a scared chicken on the course. The week prior this round that is being recorded, I shot for the first time under 50 through 9 holes, which was actually a 49, so plus 13 in that case. And I thought I would start documenting my journey. Being a very non-prepared cameraman, I forgot to bring a microphone, so this is why at the moment I'm doing this silly narration. I have never made a par on this first par 4, so that's a pretty big deal if I'm able to snatch one out right now. And yep, it's a par. Next hole is a par 5 with 430 meters from the blue tees, index 3, 470 yards into the wind, hoping that the wind will help me a little bit to keep that ball on the fairway since it's right to left at this point. But unfortunately the gusty wind at that point just stopped, and I'm just placing it really right on the right side of the car path. A few meters away would have been out of bounds, but it's still in play in the rough. At this point I'm just trying to keep it in play and place it hopefully past the dogleg right part to have a clear view to the green. I believe I'm shooting a small 7 to keep it under the wind. From this point it looks like it played out quite well, but it turns out that it was just short to clear the 90-degree corner. I haven't introduced yet to our friend indicating the flag position. How rude of me. This is Mrs. Pin Up. She's indicating where the pin is, no pun intended. This way you will have a clear idea where I am trying to aim and fail to shoot at, probably. I'm thinking in my mind, should I go over that corner or play it safe and lay up? But I thought, hey, what the hell? I'm recording this. If I make it, it's great content. If I don't, then I look like a fool, and it's still great content. My ball didn't end up in the neighbor's land, where the little farmer will be selling that ball to other golfers the next days. $5 the bucket. Not so bad. It kind of ran away a little bit from the hole. Should have tried to land it just a little bit before. I am left with a 10 to 12 meters putt, slightly breaking left to right, but I make a very poor contact and pull that putt. And I am left with a second putt of about 1.8 meters, 6 feet. And fortunately I make it. That makes a bogey on the second hole. On to the third hole, which is a par 3, index 15, 130 meters from the blue tees or 142 yards. I decide to shoot a 7 because I do not trust my contact these days, and I think I might not make it with my 8 if my contact is pretty poor, and I end up making a poor contact with the 7 anyway, which ends up short on the left side of the green. The wind right to left pushed it a little bit on the left. What seemed to be a nice chip shot with my sand wedge ends up quite short on the green. This is a 20-22 meters putt, 65-72 feet. I read it quite straight, but it turns out it's breaking slightly left to right. I am left with a second putt of 1.5 meters, approximately 5 feet, which I of course miss because I did not take the time to read correctly the line. Double bogey on that third hole. It's pretty frustrating because I could have ended up with a simple bogey on that one. Currently 3 over par. Next hole is a par 4, index 9, 320 meters from the blue tees or 350 yards. The wind is blowing left to right on this one. I did try to aim my drive dead center, and of course a little bit of that slice and a little bit of that wind pushes that ball quite far right. At this point I start to think that the wind is playing tricks with my mind. One shot it grabs my ball, one shot it doesn't. I am left with a 100-meter shot from the green, about 110 yards. On this shot I could blame the wind left to right, but clearly it was not. It was just a very, very poor swing, very poor contact. And I am left with another cheap shot. I am into the rough, right side. And left from the hole. Another 3 meters putt or 10 feet putt. Which I will not make. Thankfully I am able to make that second putt and save a bogey for this hole, which puts me 4 over through hole 4. Next hole is another par 4 with the exact same distance as the previous hole from the blue tees, 320 meters, 350 yards. Index 7. It is a quite straight hole except for a small left bend at the end. The wind has intensified and I am starting to overthink compensating that wind, which will lead to me shooting way too far right. Thankfully that drive was quite straight and no slice. I am left with 180 meters to the green, or about 196 yards, shooting a 5 wood. Pretty pleased with that shot. In the rough, if it would have been landing on the fairway, I think that ball was on the green, but I am unfortunately short to the green. Quite happy with that little approach shot. It ended up quite far from the flag, but it's still on the green. I'm just left with yet another enormous putt to make. And somehow that putt was pretty good. It stayed on the line except the last few centimeters and it turned right from the hole. 2 meters left to the hole, or 6.5 feet. A very confident strike, and I do not make it. It seems that I did not learn my lesson from previous hole and I rush putt that one.
Access denied.
I am in for a triple. Yay! 7 over through 5. It is not where I was hoping to be, leading to the hardest hole on this course. Par 5, 445 meters, 486 yards, index 1. The wind is still blowing left to right quite intensively right now. Probably psyched me out and ruined my drive to make it a slice. Very poor distance, which somehow plays in my favor because I am not in the rough. The flag is right on the other side of that little lake. The safe way is to go around, which I am trying to do with that 5 wood, but water acts as a magnet. I'm taking a drop on that little hill. At this point I know already that I don't want to shoot across the lake. I am just hoping to cut that little part of the lake right ahead and land it on the fairway. Somehow for once the wind plays in my favor and pulls it a little bit more right, which gets me slightly closer from the green, but in the rough. As you can already tell, I have one of those very ugly swings on which I am currently working on with my coach. It's already improving since that round, but yeah, for now you will have to deal with this chicken wing type of swing that I'm putting out at the moment. I thin that one. Somehow that little heel stops the ball from going in the bunker. This is going to be one of the poorest, if not the poorest, swing and contact of this round. I am nicely aiming, so the slope gently feeds the ball back.
This should be interesting.
but that doesn't go at all as planned. The ball flies way too far right and barely makes it on the green. I can tell already that my mind is all over the place. 18 meters first putt, or 60 feet. Which I will be leaving way short. At least I make that second putt, which gives me a triple. That is painful, very painful. I can feel it. I try to regroup and forget about that previous hole. Next hole is a par 4, 345 meters or 377 yards. Index 5, so quite a hard one again. On the right side, I am fully exposed to the wind blowing right to left, for which I compensate. And this time it looks like it works out. On the fairway, just short from those first left bunkers. 5 wood out, and I try to do pretty much the same thing as I did with the driver, aiming a little bit right and having that wind blow it left for me. A good strike, very good contact, it takes good flight and no wind is grabbing it, so it just goes way too far right. It lands on the rough, close to the palm trees. I got pitching wedge in hand, and I make a very poor contact, which leaves me quite short from the green in the rough. I am scared to overshoot it and end up behind the green, which has a very steep slope, so I end up being way short, just outside of the fringe of the green. Quite a good putt, to be honest. Just overshot it to cover the fringe distance, and I end up way past the hole. I completely misread that putt. I thought it was straighter than that. I made that one last putt. Another triple. 13 over through 7. Next hole is a par 3, 105 meters from the blue tees, 115 yards, index 17, the second easiest hole of the course. There is a small creek going across, which I tend to fall in usually, so I am clubbing up and I am hitting a 9. Pretty happy with that. It came quite hot on the green, kept rolling. For a moment I thought it would just land over the hill behind the green. Somehow that ball stopped just right by the fringe, and it is quite a good position. Not sure if that was mine, but I am cleaning up anyway. People, repair your greens. Left to right, I am giving it a gentle touch. Don't want to overpass it, otherwise it's a steeper slope. Looks like I finally learned my lesson, and I try to read the line. Yes. And it's a par. Feeling alive again. Yes. 13 over through hole 8. Last hole is a par 4, 300 meters from the blue tees, 328 yards, index 13. It has a gentle, long curve to the right with water on the right. Wind is left to right, less gusty than earlier. I end up hitting a slight slice. The wind grabs it once in the air. Thankfully that fairway is quite wide. I end up in the middle of the fairway. I still have quite a long distance to cover. I decide to hit a 7 and hopefully make it just short from the green. For sure I will not make it to the green. Lack of confidence. So I'm just hoping that I'll be just short from the green. I've hit that one well, just aimed a little too far left, and I end up in the rough on the left, short from the green. Yes sir, short, short, short. Somehow I thought I hit that well and gave it enough, but it ends up just being short just before the green again. A gentle chip, I thought I made it, but it just goes say hi to our friend the Seagulls.
Close, but no cigar.
And our friend Steven Seagull has decided that he will have plastic for dinner and flies away with the ball. and it seems that his friends are having a laugh at me. That course needs an eagle or a falcon to scare those seagulls away. I somehow retrieve that ball from the seagull and decide that I will give myself a drop, estimating more or less where it was on the green. I've put it quite far from the hole to not give that one away for myself. Good stroke. I think I made it for a bogey. But the golf gods decided it would be all the way for me. And I tapped that in for a double, which leaves me with 15 over through 9 for today. Leave a like to support my pinup friend. She's having a laugh right now of my final result for today, and so should you. See you next time. Bye bye.